Hey, was it hard for you to get new talent not previously associated with the film series, like Eric Roberts or Brie Olson or Tiny Tom Lister?
Uh, well, for the first one, it was very hard to find talent. This time, because the films became so popular, everybody knew about them. So when we contacted like Eric Roberts, he was a big fan of the films.
Oh, great.
When we sent him the script, he already knew. Same as Brie Olson, she loves the films. Tommy Tiny loved the films. Jay Farah, Robert Lasardo,
Hmm.
were all big fans, and they are all actors with big balls. And that's what I need in my films.
Awesome. Absolutely. And what was your? I mean, I love your cameo in the film. Everything down to the music that plays upon your entrance at the gate when you first appear. What made you decide to actually appear in the film? Because your character, the characterized version of yourself as the director, writer, director, producer, etc., filmmaker.
Yes.
It's actually central to the storyline because you're the one that ultimately sells the Dieter Laser character, the idea that that this is medically, according to the first film, medically possible. I'm not sure if that, I mean, um,
Yeah.
what made you decide to put yourself in the film, or have you acted in other films before?
No, no, no. When I was promoting number two, so many people said to me, "You should be in the third one, and you should make the Human Centipede." And I'm not an actor, but I like to play with the idea that I'm in the film as myself, but I wanted to make a complete asshole out of myself. I don't want to take myself very seriously because I'm not an actor.
Hmm.
So it's yeah, kind of meta to use myself in the story to as the father of the Human Centipede concept.
Sure.
That works. In this way, it works.
Now you work with your sister. You work with your sister Ilona. If I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly.
Oh, no, yeah.
As a production team, have you always worked as feature films together? And do you find that works best for you because blood is thicker than water?
Absolutely, yeah. We worked from when we were very young. We already worked together. We have the six entertainment companies. She does all the business things, and I the creative things.
Hmm.
We are a team made in hell.
Honestly, I think you guys are. I don't consider it hell at all. I mean, you have concepts that are again very very dark, etc. But again, I mean, I think they're brilliant films. Especially, I really like. I think as you go on, because the first one, you do suspend the disbelief and think of it as like this, really horrible horror film. But then when you see the second, and by the time you get to the third, I mean, the third one for me was almost like a parody of the entire series in some ways. I'm assuming was that correct, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you saw it very good. Absolutely. I taking a piss out of the whole series. That's true.
Okay. I love the way you describe the films. You have like an absolute you're totally direct on it. That's really cool. I mean, in the this is just out of curiosity after because just because have you ever met any of the people that you satirized, like for instance, like not to talk about them, but just saying, like, did you ever run into Tarantino in your travels because you're both filmmakers and you made that little reference to him in the second film, or just because, I mean, you're an established filmmaker now, and you're definitely part of that new generation of filmmakers, and you're also very creative.
Yeah. Yeah, I never met them directly, but I know that Quentin Tarantino saw my first film in his own cinema here in LA.
Hmm.
He said to one of the lead actors, he absolutely is a fan of the Human Centipede series, and I know John Waters,
Great.
the director, is a big fan. He mentions the Human Centipede quite a lot in his interviews. So it's very well known here in the Hollywood community. So I'm very proud of that. But I'm from Europe, so I don't meet those guys very often.
Sure. Do you find that the audience? How do you find the difference between American audiences and European audiences, or even audiences in the Far East that see your films? Like, do you find that, like, are Americans more uptight? I mean, no, that's not really a good word to use. Would you say like, I mean, are they more open to it, or do you find that people are pretty much the same wherever you go around the world when you show these films?
Now there are differences. Like in Japan, for example, people see them as straight out comedy, so they laugh all the way, also through all the horrific moments.
Mm-hmm.
And in America, I did a radio interview, and you can't use the word shit on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
People are a little afraid of that kind of thing. So some people are very upset by these movies, about the language and stuff. But in England, for example, they have this censoring system,
Mm-hmm.
really hard to work with. And in Germany, Part 2 is totally banned out. So each country has its own reaction to it. But in general, the genre fans are all the same.
They're all the same.
They love it, yeah.
Oh gosh. I do have one more question. I had been looking
Sure.
up the film, and I've been actually waiting for this film since I knew you finished the second film, and I saw at the copyright at the end of the credits. It was 2014, and I remember reading on IMDb that the film was due out in 2013. Was there a delay in the making of the film, or is there anything that was for a reason to release it in May of 2015 as opposed to earlier?
Yeah, it took some time with negotiating with the distributor and getting the film on time. So we had some delay in the whole process, but we knew this would be the best time to release it. So
Mm-hmm.
now all heads were in the same direction,
Mm-hmm.
so we couldn't release it earlier.
How did you discover Lawrence Harvey? Because I mean, I've seen Dieter Laser on Lex, so I knew who he was right away. He's a guy you don't forget. but Lawrence Harvey, I had never seen him before, and I also love the character you gave him in this film. Is the complete,
Yeah.
totally different. I mean, there's only a small smidgen of the other character in it, and it's actually more of the tragic, gentle side of the character. You know, when he goes up to, well, I don't know if it was Brie Olson actually in the Human Centipede at that point, because they had makeup and stuff because she had been attacked in the film. You know, but he shows affection for this woman who, you know, has been kind of the victim of the judge. I'm not the judge, but the warden boss's, you know, tyranny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay.
How did I find Lawrence? Well, he's quite a newcomer. When I browsed the internet for a new talent, I found him just like Dieter on a website. And we did the auditions in London, and I met Lawrence, and I thought he is the perfect gentleman for my films. And since then, his career took off, and he did like 9 films already.
That's great.
Yeah, the guy's becoming a star.
Well, I mean, do you? I mean, I realize you can't discuss future projects in terms of story elements, but if and you don't even have to answer this question, but I would hope you know, maybe you can bring back if you have a role for them that fits them. You know, some of these people that you've worked with before, like Dieter and Lawrence, because I mean the ending. Without giving away spoilers, I just had that was scripted as well, or was that kind of Dieter just, you know?
No, it's all scripted. Yes,
Wow.
the ending as well. But
Yeah.
Dieter's performance is so amazing. So he
Yeah.
brings so much life to the character. It's amazing, huh?
Yeah. Well, he brings life to everything he does because he's got this intensity about him, and you know, he can be frightening. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I also sense that he's actually probably a very gentle man. I mean, you know what I mean? Like he's not a monster. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely not. He's a gentleman.
He's
Absolutely.
a gentleman. He's a gentleman. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you, Mr. Six.
Absolutely.
You please keep making more movies. I love them. The genre film fans love them. We support you, and you truly are an artist, and I think one of the best filmmakers of your generation. So it's truly an honor to
So
speak
much
with you.
for all your compliments. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, and thank you for your time. And they were all sincere compliments too. Please believe me.
Okay, no problem, sir. Thank you.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Okay, thank you. Bye bye now.